Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal, a production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another Wednesday review. So, today's review comes out of a request, and that is a request from at least one of the band members themselves, and that they've been requesting me to review this EP for at least a month now, and finally I had to, of course, reply back to them and say that that today will be the day that I will be reviewing it. So here it is. Here is finally the request being fulfilled. That is the debut EP from Miami, Florida-based heavy metal band Incursion. Again, it is titled The Hunter and was independently released digitally through, of course, the band's Bandcamp page on May 29th of this year. So, Incursion. Again, I didn't know who these guys were until they definitely had messaged me via Gmail. So I had never heard about them, but going on to, of course, the Metal Archives here. This band apparently was formed all the way back in 1982, and they had at least recorded a demo in 1984, but eventually split up in 1986 until getting reformed back in 2018. And as far as the band members, there's only 3 band members here in the band that at least were part of the original formation of Incursion, with only 2 new guys, that being bass player here is Stone James and vocalist Steve Sampson. So they are the only 2 new members, but the original members here being Max Havoc, Buddy Norris, and Mike Lejitsky, I think is how it's pronounced there. So there's at least the members there. Also, they have been signed with No Remorse Records, and the Hunter EP will eventually be released through No Remorse Records, so I don't know when. I should have looked that up before getting in front of the camera here, but it will be eventually released on No Remorse Records physically. So it's great that I'm doing this review ahead before, so I can at least let everybody know that how this EP is, and if this is probably going to be something that all of you, the people who are subscribed to me, might be interested in. And I think all of you will. So without further ado, let's get into the Hunter EP, the debut EP from Incursion. Kind of fucked up there. Let's get into it, damn it. Let's get into it. Alright. So, before I even get into my thoughts on this EP, let's do a track listing rundown. This EP consists of 6 songs, and it all clocks in at 22 minutes and 14 seconds. That, to me, I think is a perfect length for an EP anyways, that time length. That's perfect. So, these 6 songs are The Hunter / Prologue, Warrior of Destruction, Guiding Faith, Fade to Black, kind of fucked up a little bit there, Kingdom of the Dead, and then finally The Hunter, King of All the Land. So, I should have mentioned this beforehand, that this EP is a concept EP, and since I'm looking at the Bandcamp page, since I have to at least have this up because of they actually have the whole story plot of this concept EP already on here and what this EP is about, and it's why I'll then run it more back to the track listing here. So, again, The Hunter is a concept EP. The Hunter, born in a war-torn land and destined to fight for survival since birth, faced all adversaries, man and beast alike. He mastered his inner demons through faith, battle, and revenge. The hunter's blade led him through chaos to his final struggle with the false king. In his quest to become the king of all the land, the hunter's journey is ageless but almost forgotten. So there you go. There is the gist of the concept of itself, and that's why some of these, most of these songs have numbers in front of them. Again, the first track being 1, The Hunter Prologue, 2, Warrior of Destruction, 3, Guiding Faith, 4, Fade to Black, 5, Kingdom of the Dead, and then 6, The Hunter, King of All the Land. So it's all numbered. Each of these songs, in many ways, continue the story to of course the very last track. So it's a concept EP. So as far as the songs and everything, let's definitely get into some of that before because at this point I don't feel like going and summing up how musically they sound, since they were formed in 1982 and since they had a demo in 1984. You probably should get the gist of the kind of metal they tend to play anyways. They're not just your typical new wave or traditional heavy metal band. When they were one of the, again, one of the 80s metal bands, but very obscure, though. Very obscure. So let's get into that. Again, the opening track, 1, The Hunter Prologue. It's a standard minute intro in a similar vein to the Hellion off of Judas Priest's Screamer for Vengeance. It's a similar vein in that, and just like the Hellion, the Hunter Prologue goes straight into 2, Warrior of Destruction. Again, it's got that similar theme, the similar 1-2 punch almost of like the Hellion / Electric Eye. So again, it goes into a Warrior of Destruction, which is a galloping metal track that could have been on any of the first 5 Metal Massacre albums. Again, it just has that same style galloping American metal that again would have worked great on any of those comps. So I think it's a killer track. It's a killer way of just getting the EP going. So again, the 1-2 punch of the Hunter Prologue with 2, Warrior of Destruction is great. And that's where we then get into 3, Guiding Faith, which continues the story, and albeit at a just slow mid-paced tempo, but is still backed by some great crunchy riffs and a good guitar solo section too to boot. So this is also another good song on the album for sure. And then finally we then get to 4, Fade to Black, which moved things forward in more energetic fashion. Classic blazing speed metal of riffs that has that Americanized new wave or British heavy metal style that ends up bordering on US power metal, which again, that's kind of was the same kind of feeling and the theme, or at least the style leanings of a lot of the bands during this time frame. That's why I compare some of this stuff to some of the bands on the first 4 or 5 Metal Massacre albums. Like again, you listen to either bands like, for example, maybe early Fate's Warning, or I don't know at this point, or maybe early Armored Saint is another one I could probably compare to. Again, it's just in there. Again, it just has that underground cult American metal feel to it. That it's definitely great. It's a great sound. That's why I really dig this. So again, it's a fantastic song. Finally, we get closer to the end with 5, Kingdom of the Dead, a much more heavier track. It starts off slow and then immediately turns into another grab you by the jugular speed metal track. Definitely makes me wonder why they were never picked up by Metal Blade back in the day. Because it's got all of that feel, and it's very catchy, it's heavy, it's got good hooks to some of this, and I love the whole sound of this EP as well. I like the sort of throwback raw feel of it. Again, it gives it again that almost vintage sound, and I should point out that this was engineered, actually no, it was mixed by Jorg Eucken at Sound Dodge Studios, which again, he had mixed albums for Anvil, Savage Blood, and Power Game, which is a German metal band. So there you go. And also the artwork was even created by Phil Loire, Celtic Frost, Lever, whatever. He did a lot of the classic artworks for bands like Celtic Frost, Creator, Hyrax, Death Row, and just so on and so on. He's done some plenty. Oh yeah, and the German Warrant. I know I kind of threw threw a little bit of the thing off, but I definitely had to get that since I'm talking about also the production of the EP here. But again, it's so back to again Fade to Black. It's where are you at? Oh, God damn it, King of the Dead. Okay, so yeah, it's a pretty good track. So that's probably the final of the real songs on the EP here. Then finally we get to the absolute final song on here, which again, what we close with is, well, 6, The Hunter, King of the Land. It's another instrumental that shares much of the same riffs as the opening instrumental, being the Hunter Prologue, but slightly longer. Again, the difference between the first opening instrumental and the very last instrumental is that the Hunter Prologue clocked in at 1 minute and 10 seconds, whereas 6, the Hunter, King of all the Land, clocks in at 1 minute and 47 seconds. But again, they seem to really share the same riff, same feel, and everything. It shares a lot of those same things. I also forgot to point out that the track Kingdom of the Dead, which again, the final of the actual songs on the EP here, is probably the longest of the songs on here, clocking pretty much just at 6 minutes. So there you go. And that's where we end things. There is The Hunter from Incursion, and my rating, I actually forgot to even write a rating down. Holy shit. To be quite honest, I would say, I'm just going to go off my head right here, just go off there and just say a 8.50 out of 10. I think this is a solid EP from these guys, and for a debut EP, which again, long awaited obviously. These guys again, going all the way back to the mid or early 80s. They obviously, it took a long time for them to really get to record a debut EP, and this really does have that feel. It could have easily been a follow-up to their demo and anything. This could have been a great debut EP for any of the classic old school cult metal labels of that time frame. It definitely could have been a part of either Roadrunner Records back in the day, or Metal Blade Records back in the day, or at times maybe even Combat back in the day. Again, just going off the cuff of certain labels that this wouldn't have been out of place on. So it just has that. And if you like that kind of sound, I definitely recommend checking out an Incursion. I mean, I don't know how many people of you are actually aware of this EP. If you are not, I hope I am the reason that you are now aware of this EP, because I think this is a solid EP. Definitely, I'm going to be leaving you a link to their Bandcamp page for you to check out the EP. And if you end up buying the digital, it's only at least if you're interested in buying it digitally, again, it goes for about $5 on their Bandcamp page. So it's really not too much. But again, I know that since they are signed with No Remorse Records, and this is slated to at least be released physically on most formats anyways on No Remorse Records, that means I know most of you are going to be just as interested on just buying this physically. And I think it's a great for listening to it for right now on the Bandcamp page until the tide you over until No Remorse releases it physically. And I think that's when you definitely should be supporting Incursion. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. This is for Thrash. I say I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.